And these cold streets made a man of me. Knew a time it'll come, they doubt me. Had to keep them OGs around me. Keep a young homie grounded. You never know where your motivation to come from. We do the most with these bras and pop shundun. They try to push you aside.
Car Talk 101. Today we're going to talk about the hidden cost on what it takes to have a lifted truck. Most people buy trucks and they want to get it lifted, but they don't realize how much it costs or how much it takes to keep it the maintenance up and the upkeep of the truck. So I got my co-host with me today. Welcome back, Warren.
Thank you for having me.
Why don't you go ahead and dive into it as far as the hidden costs of components or your experience about buying a lifted truck. What was your first lifted truck, by the way?
So my first lifted truck was a GMC Sierra. I bought it like that from the dealership. It was a showroom, beautiful truck. However, they did, what any other business would do, I feel like, and they kind of cheaped out on parts, and I ended up paying for it later. The cost of the truck was, I want to say $50,000 at the time.
Okay.
Now the suspension package was $14,000. They got me and they said, the parts be covered under warranty if anything goes wrong with the truck. Because if you lift the truck, a brand new truck, and you go adding parts to it, they don't tend to want to warranty it, right?
So they got you for the truck was $50,000, then another $14,000 for the lift, and then you paid extra for a warranty or what?
No, so that was in 2015, by the way. So that truck was $50,000, and then they $14,000 package, which was a total of $64,000 for that truck.
So almost $70,000 off the lot.
And I think that's appealing. Somebody comes in, they say, I want to lift the truck. This one looks good. You don't have to wait for the parts to come in. Here you go. Here's the keys to your truck.
Right.
I think that's, in theory, it sounds good.
Yeah.
In reality, it's something completely different. You're going to get that truck. They cheap out on the parts. I started having issues with the control arms on that truck. After the control arms, it was the ball joints. After the ball joints, it was the wheel hub bearings. All these costs that just started coming out of nowhere because the dealership used cheap parts.
So I noticed on some trucks I've seen that came from the dealership lifted, they use a mixture of stock components with the lifted kit. So they might keep the same. I can't think of it at the tip of my tongue. Control arms.
Yeah,
okay? And they keep the same control arms, and it causes the ball joints to wear out and other things like that. They also keep the same shocks when the shocks should be changed out, right?
Shocks should be changed out. And now that I think about it, I don't see a lot of trucks being sold with the aftermarket lifts anymore. And I wonder if has been an issue where people go down the road and they realize these trucks were fully put together with these cheap parts. What I started to see though is Chevy, GMC, they sell an AT4 package. Basically the truck comes with a leveling kit on it. Ford, they have the trimmer.
Okay, yeah.
It comes with a leveling kit.
Okay.
And they sell those at a premium. When lifting your truck, a leveling kit is probably the most economical thing that you can do as far as lifting it. It doesn't cost a whole lot. When these trucks come from the factory, the back is already higher than the front. So really, when you do a leveling kit, they lift up the front. Doesn't
I got something I want to add to that. A leveling kit, if you go do it yourself, like take it to a shop, they're going to charge you anywhere between $400 to $600. That's with the parts and labor. I'm just letting you know right now, guys. You get it bought like that off the dealership lot, it's going to cost way more than that.
Right. It will cost you more.
We're talking about thousands, not a couple hundred.
Right. So if you want bigger tires, you want, a more aggressive stance, I feel like a leveling kit is probably the way to go. If you just want to get into it.
And also upgrading your tires. Because you can keep the same wheels, but you want to go with a more of aggressive tire if you're going to do a leveling kit.
And that in itself would, I think, add some aggressiveness to the truck, add some boldness to it.
Yeah. Most
Um,
definitely.
Now, if you want to get a little more aggressive, then yeah, you could do a suspension lift. There's some things to consider when you do a suspension lift, though. Uh, Things like shocks, your lift height, how high you want to go, the brand of the lift. You want safety concerns too. You know, we just covered that. You don't want to compromise your safety just because you want to make your wallet comfortable.
True.
I'll say have your wheel size or your tire size in mind when you consider your lift. Be hard set on it. A lot of people they go, I want 35s. 35 is a good size tire, but if you decide to go up in size in your lift, you also have to go higher in your tire size, which is another added expense. The higher the bigger the tire, the more it's going to cost. Not only that, but the bigger the diameter as well,
Hmm.
the more the tire will cost.
So a lot of times, and I think we both experience this when we say we started off on a lift that was 6 inches. Like, man, hold up, man. I was at the stoplight next to a guy, and man, I feel like, man, my truck was stock compared to his. And you say, hey, I want to go higher up. And when you start getting that truck lifted a little bit more higher, I always remember your tires are going to start looking like you missed leg day now. So now
Exactly.
you want to go up in size on the tire because it's not going to look right. And just like he just said, once you go up in size on the tire, it's going to cost more money. And I always remember tire prices varies um, depending on what type of time of the economy we're in. So, like, just how much did you pay for your first set of tires on here uh, when you first got
So
it?
when I purchased these tires, they were around 450 a tire, um, and then a set of four. So what ended up happening though is I had those tires on there. They were a good quality tire. They were the wrong ply. They were 10 plies.
Hmm.
So here I am. I spend $1,600 on some tires, and I'm replacing them 6 months down the road, and I have no idea why. I'm thinking the tires are defective when no, it was actually the wrong ply on the tire.
Wrong
It should
ply,
have been a 12 ply
12 ply.
instead of a 10 ply. That right there itself costed me some money that I didn't see coming.
So a set of four tires. So because you said it was 1,600 during the time you had bought those tires, right?
Hmm.
For a set of four. Okay, so if you had to get a brand new set of four tires as of right now, you're probably looking at roughly what, 3,000,
About 3,200. Yeah,
3,200. So you see what I mean when I say the price varies depending on what type of economy we're in, guys. So you always want to keep that in mind. And if you try to say, hey, well, man, my budget kind of tight. Hey, if you happen to just say, I'm gonna put a cheap tire on here, I would suggest don't have it on there no more than a couple of months
well, that's all
to,
it's gonna last you
yeah,
anyways.
that's all it's gonna last you. But it'll start wearing on those components if you just say, I'm gonna go ahead and, replace it with all cheap tires. And like I say, you guys, we're telling you all this from experience. This is the hidden cost of having a lifted truck that nobody really wants to talk about.
It's fun having a lift. It can be expensive, and
Hmm.
we don't want you to overpay or come to a crossroads where you like have regrets that you got a lift. Because really, if you get the right components, you won't have to pour money into these trucks.
True.